Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Luca Russian, and today I wanted to sit down and talk about why I think Jason Blundell saved Call of Duty. Not just zombies, but Call of Duty as a whole. So for the maybe one person that doesn't know who Jason Blundell is, I'll give you a little bit of backstory. Basically, Jason Blundell was a developer over at Treyarch, and he worked on the campaign for a little while, and once Nocturne and Toten actually went into development by the team, he became part of that, and eventually over time, as the years went along, and as the development of the games went along, he started to have more of a hand in zombies. And basically, he was the guy that made Mob of the Dead and Origins, and after Black Ops 2 actually came out in December of 2014, the guy that was originally the head of zombies actually left the studio. His name was Jimmy Zielinski, so basically Jason Blundell took over for him. And ever since then, Jason Blundell has actually taken the zombie storyline in his own direction. It's really just his ideas are the ones that actually make it into the game. He's the guy that leads everything that goes on in zombies, and nothing makes the game without his approval. He's also a co-studio head, so basically most of what goes on at Treyarch goes through him because he works on the campaign and he's the lead of that. He's also the lead of zombies, and he's actually co-studio head, so basically he sort of runs the shit. But in my opinion, I really think that Jason Blundell was actually the catalyst to keeping Call of Duty alive, especially throughout the couple of down years that have actually been happening in the last few years. Because let's think about this for a second, right? And this isn't actually to bash on any of the developers or any of the other games, but what game other than a Treyarch title has actually been a success in the Call of Duty franchise since 2012? In 2012, we had Black Ops 2, which was one of the biggest successes in Call of Duty ever. Then we had Ghost, which really didn't actually do all that well, and a lot of people didn't like it. Advanced Warfare was basically a flop as well. Then we had Black Ops 3, which actually revitalized the community and is still the most popular Call of Duty game to this day. It actually outsold Modern Warfare 3 and is the best-selling Call of Duty game ever made at this point. Then we get to Infinite Warfare, which for all intents and purposes was an absolute failure. I like the game, I personally enjoy it, and I go back and play it a pretty good amount actually, but not a lot of people really enjoyed it, and there really isn't a lot of people playing the game right now. And if we take the Treyarch titles out of this list, what good games have there actually been since 2012? There really haven't actually been all that many. And especially since 2011, 2012, people have been a lot more critical of the Call of Duty franchise. They say, oh, it's the same thing every year, and that the Call of Duty series is dying, which it actually isn't. It's actually more popular than it's ever been, but that's not the point. Basically, people have been saying that the series has been dying for quite a long time. But Treyarch's actually the thing that really is at this point keeping Call of Duty above water. So if we were to take Treyarch out of this equation right here, what good games has Call of Duty produced since 2012? And by good, I mean it's kept the community's attention for a full year. Ghost, but a lot of people went back to Black Ops 2. Same thing with Advanced Warfare, went back to Black Ops 2. And then all of a sudden, Black Ops 3, we're on our second year of that because not a lot of people want to play Infinite Warfare. And at this point, it really does feel like the Call of Duty franchise as a whole really is just clinging to Treyarch having good games to really keep their series alive. Yes, the series technically is more popular than it's ever been, but a lot of those players are playing Treyarch titles only. Not a lot of people want to play Infinite Warfare. Not a lot of people are playing Advanced Warfare. Not a lot of people are playing Ghost. I mean, basically anybody. But the main reason that I think that Jason Blundell saved the Call of Duty franchise wasn't necessarily because he had insane graphics in his game. It wasn't necessarily because he had the best gameplay, but I think it was because he kept us interested. And I think that's really a lost art with Call of Duty right now, is keeping the audience interested in what you're bringing to the table. Now I'm going to make a bold statement here. I'm going to say that Black Ops 3 was probably one of the worst actual gameplay games that they've made in a long time, but the reason that it's actually kept people interested for so long is because they keep updating the game and because they keep us interested in what they have to say. Especially the zombies, that actually kept us interested all the way throughout the year and even into 2 years after their game actually came out, especially with Zombies Chronicles, because Jason Blundell really knows how to craft a story. Whether you like the direction that he's actually taking the storyline right now really doesn't actually mean all that much. Whether or not you really like it, you're interested in it in some way, shape, or form. And that is a huge problem for all the other studios that are making Call of Duty games right now. No one really has a vested interest in any Call of Duty titles other than Treyarch ones right now, especially going into Infinite Warfare. No one cared about that game whatsoever. There was no hype behind it. No one even gave a remote shit about the game itself. And then when it actually turned out that especially Zombies wasn't really what it was actually all cracked up to be, and then the multiplayer wasn't that great, it was something that really disappointed a lot of people. Yes, that were actually hopeful for the game, but then a lot of people said, you know what, well, I guess we'll just go back to Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 2, and then we could have a fun time, because they really do care about what Treyarch is bringing to the table. Like seriously, the value of audience investment is an absolutely huge thing, because if any other studio actually put out a quote-unquote DLC 5 for their season, no one else would have cared about it. No one would have cared about it if it wasn't Treyarch. But because it was Treyarch, it was an absolutely massive release, and it was the biggest thing on YouTube for at least a week or two. everyone was on Zombies Chronicles. Whether you were a Zombies YouTuber or not, whether you were a Call of Duty YouTuber or not, everyone was playing Zombies Chronicles. Now seriously, what other studio could have actually done that and had anyone remotely give a shit about it? If Infinite Warfare Zombies actually came out with a 5th DLC, I guarantee you no one would buy it because they were going on to play World War II. And then same thing with Exo Zombies. No one would have really cared at that point because we were going to get Black Ops 3, so again, it's one of those things where Treyarch always has an interested audience in what they have to say, and a lot of that becomes because they make good games. It really just comes down to you make good games, you craft a good story, people are going to care about what you do. And a lot of this credit has to go to Jason Blundell because when he took over lead development of Zombies, it was really pretty stagnant at this point where basically there wasn't all too much storytelling going on. It was really just, okay, well, we go from location to location. There's a little bit of backstory, but there wasn't too much going on there. And then Jason Blundell said, you know what, hey, let's add in literally every storyline component that we possibly can, and let's make the most interesting video game story of the last at least 20 years, if not ever. There's so much story and there's so much content in Zombies that it really is actually impossible to wrap your head around the entire thing. Jason Blundell keeps twisting and turning and doing all kinds of stuff with the story that we really just have to keep up constantly, and we're always interested in what he has to say. Literally, we could actually have an interview with Jason Blundell, right? And we check to see if this man is blinking in Morse code. Seriously, we actually did that when Milo did an interview with him a little while back. There's a reason, and it's because Jason Blundell has this aura about him, and so does Treyarch. There's an aura around them that really is keeping the Call of Duty franchise alive. We're always hopeful for Treyarch titles. We always say to ourselves, okay, well, maybe if this game is bad, well, then we don't really have to wait all that long for the next Treyarch title. There really is something about Jason Blundell and the way that he actually spun Zombies, and he spun the campaign, and he spun, generally speaking, Call of Duty as a whole, that really is keeping people interested. And it's getting to the point where I can really solidly say that Jason Blundell is the reason that the Call of Duty franchise is as relevant as it is at this point. There is absolutely no contesting that. And yes, a lot of it goes down to the development team that is actually behind him and the people that write the story with him, but Jason Blundell really is the figurehead for all of this. It's sort of like Vonderhaar when he was really out in the public. He was always the figurehead that people always blamed or, you know, praised or whatever, right? He was always the guy that everyone did that for, and Jason Blundell is now the actual spiritual head of Treyarch at this point. He's the guy that we look to when something happens at Treyarch. We say, okay, well, it's either Bondi or it's Blundell, and a lot of us as Zombies fans, we look to Blundell. And I could ramble on for years and years and years about this, but I think I'm going to wrap up the video here so it's not way too long. Tell me in the comment section down below, do you think that Jason Blundell was the guy that saved Zombies? If not, I would love to hear your opinion. If you do agree with me, tell me why. Like I said, just leave it in the comments. While you're down there, I'd appreciate a like. Subscribe if you guys are new around here, and turn notifications to my daddy. By the way, we're getting really close to 10,000 subscribers, so if you guys haven't done so, I would really appreciate it. Like, I know you can't see my sub count, but we're getting really close. Anyway, I do love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
I will return when more demons have been bred. It will not take long.